So a company sent me a new keyboard, and whenever I'm reviewing keyboards, there's always an expectation, or even a lack of an expectation. Many of these keyboards come from the lower price side of things, so it's not like I can expect the best quality to come out of it. But today, I will be showing you guys the perfect pre-built keyboard that's under $100, and I got you guys a 10% discount in the description down below as well. So the keyboard we are reviewing today is the Vissles V84. This is a hot swappable 75% keyboard with 84 keys with Bluetooth 5.1 for the most compact and versatile design. The keyboard comes with a USB-C cable, keycap puller, a high quality switch puller, extra keycaps for the Windows layout, 3M rubber pads, magnetic kickstand feet, and a wrist rest. Alright, so this is the aesthetic of the keyboard. It's simple and clean. It has a plastic black case with white PBT keycaps, you've got a USB-C port on the back side, and the bottom has a power switch and has a similar design to the KBD75V1. We have rubber feet and some magnetic buoys that pop right on, and it gives you a nice elevated 6-degree typing angle. They're slightly wobbly, but it's irrelevant because it doesn't move when you use the keyboard. Now your initial thought of the keyboard may be that it's a high profile case, but a cool hidden feature that I don't even know if Vissles was intending is that you can easily take off the top frame from the backside and bam, all of a sudden your keyboard has turned into a low profile design. And even the edges are finished with no signs of the keyboard being a high profile case. There are no clips, no spaces, and having this feature helps you clean the keyboard a little bit and lets you admire the switches a little more. So if you're having a hard time choosing between a low profile and a high profile case, this is the keyboard for you. Next are the keycaps. These are some really nice quality white PBT keycaps with dye sublimation legends with a centered top position. These cherry profiled keycaps are nice and thick to provide you a nice thock, and the whiteness is close to a WS2 profile with these Gokbo WS1 keycaps as a reference. And moving down a layer, we have our switches. So this keyboard comes with Vissles self-developed switches called the VS switch. They look wildly similar to a Telio switch, but they have an actuation of around 45 grams with a bottom out distance of 4 millimeters. So its properties are fairly similar to a Gateron red switch. But just like the Telios, it has a clear housing with a teal stem, but it has a silver spring. These are factory lubed, and the lube application surprisingly looks like as if a person has done it, and it's almost as smooth as a JWK switch, but more similar to a lubed Telio switch. Stem wobble is pretty good, housing wobble is completely non-existent, and there's barely any spring ping in these switches, which is pretty incredible. If a $100 pre-built keyboard can have switches with no housing wobble, then why can't Zeal do the same thing? What am I paying more for? The gold spring? This keyboard is a testament that you do not need to spend a lot of money in order to get good switches, or even a good keyboard for that matter. But let's listen to what it sounds like. If you guys watched my Razer Huntsman Mini versus the RK61 video, keyboard ping was a huge issue there. But with this keyboard, you can mash your fingers down onto the keys and you will barely hear any ping. That's how I knew within the first 3 minutes of unboxing this keyboard that it would be an amazing typing board. Ridiculous. Now this is a well-built keyboard. What now, Razer fanboys? And yes, this is a hot swappable keyboard, so you can take any mechanical switch you like and throw it down onto this PCB. This keyboard also uses plate stabilizers that are somewhat factory lubed, but there definitely is a bit of rattle on the longer keys. The stabilizer fitting on the plate is somewhat loose, and even when replacing them with GMK stabilizers, it didn't really change anything. But because they are plate mounted, it's extremely easy to remove them and lube them up. And I would probably suggest getting something like band-aids to keep the stabilizer housing from moving altogether if lube itself does not help with the rattle. And underneath the switches, we do have RGB lighting, which is awesome. You have 19 different effects to choose from. You have waves, reactive effects, static effects, frequency effects, and each effect can have 8 different colors and a rainbow variant. You also have 5 levels of brightness, as well as 5 levels of speed, and the keyboard will blink 3 times whenever you hit that limit. It's definitely a really beautiful looking board with the LEDs on, and even though the plate is black, the white keycaps somewhat make up for it. And don't forget you can take off the top frame to see more of the LEDs in that low profile design. But what about the keycaps? While some of you may be a little disappointed that the keycap letters are not shine through, the top of the keycaps are fairly translucent, so you'll still see the letters and symbols in the dark since the LEDs shine through. And because the letters are centered at the top, it's much easier to see the contrast of the letters and symbols with the LEDs as the background, so there's no real issue here. One of the great features about this keyboard is that it has Bluetooth 5.1 connectivity, which isn't a rare feature, but the ability to connect to 5 devices at once is. In order to connect your devices, you do the same process as every other Bluetooth mechanical keyboard. You hold the function and any of the QWERTY keys until it flashes, and then it will show up on your devices to connect. Switching devices is the same process, but instead of holding the button, you just tap it, wait for it to stop flashing, and you're good to go. I'm so glad that we can finally see a keyboard that can connect your phone, your laptop, desktop, tablet, and TV all at the same time. As for battery life, you don't even have to worry. With a 3750 mAh battery, this keyboard boasts 180 hours of usage on a single charge without RGB. So I can guarantee you'll be able to get some RGB on a full work week without having to plug it in even once. This keyboard also doesn't have any downtime either. RGB does turn off after a couple minutes just to save on battery, but it's always up and running and connected. Unlike other wireless keyboards where you have to wait for the reconnection after it's on standby mode, this keyboard has zero downtime whatsoever, and that's a great bonus feature. There's also a very simple and concise program available that lets you remap keys, change lighting modes, colors, speeds, directions, gaming mode, and even macros, so everything can be controlled through this program. And the fact that this keyboard is fully compatible with both Mac and Windows is definitely a great feature. You can see all the Apple features on the function row at the top here, and you can also change the keycaps, which is definitely a huge plus. Overall, this is a very well built keyboard with all the features that you would ever need. And the fact that it can sound and feel like a high-end mechanical keyboard with the price of a pre-built off-the-shelf keyboard is astonishing. Now I've been using this keyboard for the past week, and I gotta say that this is indeed the perfect pre-built keyboard I have ever tested. The switches are nice and smooth, they sound great with the exception of the stabilizer keys, and the best part of all is that I didn't have to spend any time lubing these switches to get that same result. You're also getting high quality keycaps that work really well with the RGB underneath. And wireless gaming, it's been awesome. I've been playing Warzone for the past few days and I have not experienced any latency issues whatsoever, which is good. But I will say this, with any Bluetooth keyboard, there will be a time when the Bluetooth connection suddenly goes wonky, and that can affect your gameplay. Although it doesn't happen very often, like for myself it only happened once during the entire week, but it's still something you need to be wary of. But if you're playing something super casual like MapleStory, which I've been grinding 20 hours in the past 2 days, this is totally the perfect keyboard to use wirelessly. This keyboard also has N key rollover whether it's wired or on Bluetooth, so this keyboard almost has no limits. And don't forget all the accessories that come with this keyboard too. A good quality switch puller like this costs around $4 to $5, while the wrist rest will probably cost you another $15. It's light, it's plush and soft with the synthetic leather, and it's the perfect length for this keyboard. Not to mention the magnetic kickstand feet, like that is a really cool feature that I have never seen before. Now this wouldn't be a proper review without getting through the issues. But this keyboard doesn't have any issues that would pertain to any of the average users. For an enthusiast, there are only two. The first one is that there is a little bit of keycap interference. Since these switches are north-facing switches, they're not the most compatible with thick, cherry-profiled keycaps. And stabilizer rattle is also a little bit of an issue, but that's something that can be easily solved with a little bit of lube. So is this the perfect pre-built keyboard? Absolutely! For $100 you're getting a really nice build quality, a really good typing and sound experience thanks to a good application of factory lube, you've got great accessories, you've got great versatility and flexibility. What more do you guys want? If a keyboard enthusiast is this excited about a keyboard being this good at a low price, just imagine what it would be like for the average user. We're getting there, guys. Higher quality at a lower price, this is the beginning. Other than having south-facing switches, there's not much you can really improve on this keyboard without increasing the cost of the board. The closest thing to this keyboard and its price is probably the EP84 from EpoMaker, but I guarantee that the sound and typing experience is not the same and not as good as this one. That's a promise. Let me know your thoughts on this keyboard. It's got to be the best bang for your buck keyboard on the market. It has to be. Use code Romsicle to get 10% off this keyboard with the link in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.